Let's cover 3 ways to run Autodesk Fusion 360 in Linux, and the first is pretty straightforward. I made a video on installing a virtual machine into Linux, and even though you're looking at Design Spark here, it's still pretty straightforward. You would install Autodesk Fusion 360 into a virtual machine, and you're off and rolling, right? So follow the video to install a virtual machine, and then it's just like installing it in regular old Windows. The next way is a little bit more interesting. So you go to myhub.autodesk360.com. I'll put the link in the description. You sign in, and you can create a project, right? So here I've made a project called Flange, and we can come to the drop-down menu here and say New Fusion 360 Design. And just like Xdesign or Onshape or any of the other cloud-based modelers, you have a full system based in the cloud. It is noteworthy to say this is only really truly supported in Chrome. So be careful, who you go with, but it is easy to get running and start a sketch and make a solid right here in the cloud. So that is one pretty seamless way to run Fusion 360 in the cloud. The third way is probably just if you want to avoid the cloud interface at all costs. And it's another very interesting way. So I'll put this link in the description as well, but there is a Linux platform called Lutra. I have never ever used it ever in my life until now. It apparently is gaming, which I don't really game, but if you do, it's probably pretty cool. It looks really cool for gamers, and you can download it using these lines of code for a PPA package. So if I open up my terminal here and start installing Lutra. Alright, with Lutra installed, let's open it up. You may come across this message. If so, you can install graphics drivers on this link and just follow the instructions for your specific graphics driver, right? I'm running NVIDIA graphics M2200, I believe, and so I'll follow the instructions for that. So if you see that, follow the instructions for yours. I've never had a software conflict installing these graphics drivers additionally. Alright, my graphics are good, and now that we have Lutra open, I'm going to go to Runners up here and click the gear icon. We scroll down and we'll choose Wine with this blue toolbox icon, and then we'll go to Lutra. I'm going to do 4.17. I was able to see that one worked. And then once that's downloaded and extracted, we'll say, come on, extract. We'll say OK. We'll close that down. Also, before we start, I just remembered you want to go to Runners, and we'll scroll back down to Wine and make sure that it's 417 down here. Crisis averted. So we're going to save that. And then choose Fusion 360 and install. We want to install our client. That's a good place. And then I'm going to open up a Nautilus window over here. And you have a hidden folder within the home folder called .cache. Click on that, and inside there'll be a folder called Lutra. Click on that. Let's see, this is what the inside looks like. Click on Installer, Autodesk Fusion 360, Fusion Installer, and you should see a file right here with an exe. If you don't, wait longer. If you still don't, I don't know how to help you, but as long as that's there, click on the Continue. And now we are installing. We'll probably be asked to install several other Wine applications. I install them every time. I'll go ahead and fast forward through this. Just install anything it asks you to, and I'll see you at the next relevant part. Also, this window just opened up for me, So hopefully it'll open up for you pretty soon as well if it hasn't already. We're just going to leave this open and let this thing do its thing until a later step. If this window seems like it's hanging up at any point, go into the task manager and kill the wine programs and anything that ends in .exe. And if you kill both wine and exe stuff, don't kill the Lutra stuff obviously, then the install will be able to continue. You'll know because this window will stop getting hung up. So I just killed I think it was wineserver.exe and streamer.exe, and my window stopped being hung up. You might have to kill different things, but now this new window popped up, Autodesk Fusion 360, so it's starting to open up. So we'll just keep continuing this, and oh, yep, there we go. So Fusion 360 is open. Might as well come into what we do next. I'll full screen this actually. You can see the graphics are still a little bit hesitating, and that's okay, because this is something that we're going to address right now once this updates. There we go. We're going to go into our preferences. And in preferences, graphics driver should be set to DirectX. Make absolutely sure that it is. We say OK. And now we close the window. And the installation continues. It is probably going to open Fusion 360 again, and when it does open, we check it one more time to make sure that everything works. I've never had it not work, but if you have a problem, I have no idea what it would be. Also, it looks like our install is hung up. It seems as though we are hanging on this again. So when we hang, we'll again kill some of these processes. We want to kill wine server. Oh, and that looks like that's all we needed to do. I click these, I don't think anything actually happens. But now we have Fusion 360. I'm going to actually restart. So I've jumped into a restart, and then I pulled up Lutris again. Let's click on play with Lutris, and this will take a little while for it to boot up, but I think you'll find the results to be pretty good. In fact, there it goes right there. Alright, we've switched to this window. So one thing you'll find is in this edition of Lutris, there's some minor graphical errors, you know, where things show up in front of other windows and things, but nothing that would prevent you from using Fusion 360 to its fullest. And you know, inside of this you can create a sketch on whatever plane you wish, and it works just like Fusion 360 should. You can solid, extrude, and it is a pretty nice click and drag interface, just kind of like SolidWorks or Design Spark or something like that. You can also, of course, use dimensions, but so you can pull your files off the cloud the way that Autodesk normally does it, and you can enjoy a really nice interface to make whatever you want. Looks like some of my previous models in Fusion 360 open up and work just fine. So I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.